Here are 3 reasons why to subscribe to Fringe Financials on YouTube. Number 1, it is free, which is the best price that you can pay for this kind of content. 2, I am completely transparent with all of my investments. And number 3, I have a variety of educational videos every single week. Now let's get on with the video. What is going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. It is Fringe Financials here, and it is Friday, and the markets have just closed, and I wanted to update you on my current Tesla position. As you could probably tell by the thumbnail of the video, it is not going too well. But, I'm going to show you the numbers. We'll talk about the strategy a little bit, and then I'll give you some of my opinions and some feedback. So if you're excited for today's video, make sure that you smash the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and turn on the bell notifications. Every like is one less tear that I will be crying because of my current position. And just before we do anything else, just remember, none of what I do is financial advice. I have that ticker up there now, so you can see that there's, not financial advice and to do your own research. So please consider doing so. So I kind of want to recap the market for the week here, and it has been a rough week. Now, with the market being choppy all over the place, it was a really rough week for the stock market in general, with all the major indices going down, big companies going down like Tesla, and we're going to talk about what it was doing. We have the idea that we're not quite out of inflationary period yet. Jerome Powell spoke on, I believe, Thursday morning or late Thursday morning, I believe, and was saying that our economy is too confident to be away from inflation. Inflation is still kicking around from the numbers from the looked at. They could probably look at the CPI data, the PPI data, and everything else. So inflation is still kicking around here, and it looks like they might be even raising more interest rates in the future just to try to combat inflation even more, which is not something that the market likes to hear. The more we raise rates, the harder it is to borrow money, and it kind of closes up shop for the whole economy until things start to kind of decrease and go back down. So not really some good news. We got the conflict going over in the Middle East right now. That's having more and more tension going on over there, which puts more fear in the market as well. So there's just all these different catalysts going on, and the market was not happy with it. And it's part of the market. This is what really builds you, builds character. I hate to say builds character, but it does build character because you got to be able to hold in when you're having these losses here and not, paper hand, they say, and not just sell off your position. Because, again, your investments should be looking for the long term. So having these choppy markets, having this up and down volatility shouldn't be swaying you from your investment strategy and everything else. It still hasn't swayed me from my investment strategy, hard to believe. I just put in some more money this week into the S&P 500, so try to get a little bit of a discount for that one. And I'll be in a different video. You can see my investments later on. So let's talk Tesla stock, because, Tesla earnings were this week, and boy, oh boy, was it just absolutely wild. So this was when I made the video last week about Tesla. It was trading right above this price here. So I would have been liquidated and had to sell my shares off if it closed above it. And it really sold off. And I remember before I was like, oh my God, I'm kind of okay with that. I can just hold more Tesla stock and do more of this over and over again. So I was pretty okay with it at the time being. And then it kind of went down to, you're looking at a low about $250. So I'm down about $700 here. So I was like, all right, well, I've made a lot of money in my options trading right now. I've collected premiums from selling contracts, basically renting out my shares and collecting premiums as I go. So I haven't been really too worried about it. Monday comes around, get a little bit of a rally, which is nice. Again, getting really close to that 257.5 mark. I think I opened up another position here, if I'm not mistaken, and I have to go back and look. But I had a position here where I opened up for about $500 in premium. The reason why it was such a high premium this week was because their earnings were coming out on the Wednesday, which is over here. So people are expecting a lot of volatility, so this stock could shoot up, this stock could shoot back down, so people are willing to pay those higher premiums for those options contracts while the implied volatility was really, really high. So that's something that's really, really nice. When you get those earnings, weeks, reports, and everything else, you can expect to have a little bit more premium in your pocket, which is really awesome. So we get a little bit of rally into Monday, which is, so awesome, right? So it was starting off really low, about 248, rallied up, closed at about 254, give or take some decimals. And then Tuesday, we had a little bit of a sell-off, which is really, really interesting. On Tuesday, right before the pre-market, so this little orange region is my pre-market here, market sells off, rallies back up, basically touches the 257.5 mark, and it's kind of hovering around that line, it looks like. And then, so we're going in to, again, there's Monday, so then we had a little bit of a sell-off, then it rallied up to Tuesday, so we closed at about right under 257, we're looking at about 255-ish, there, give or take. So basically no change from this day to the previous day. So, again, like I said, no big deal. Then comes in the pre-market onto Wednesday. And then as you can see here, so this is the day of earnings for Tesla. And they reported their earnings after hours. In case you don't know how earnings works, every company reports, how their companies are doing, with their revenues, with their cash flow, with all different important financials that people look into to see how the company's performing. So here's what happens. So it initially sells off, which I was like, oh boy. Then it just continues to sell off. And the reason why is there's a little bit of a rally here. So they announced their earnings, the numbers came in. And then right about here is where Elon Musk talks on the conference call about the future of Tesla for the next 12 months, next 18 months, about the Cybertruck and everything else. And the way he spoke on this conference call, which is where, the big shareholders, some of that listening on and things like that, when you listen to his conversation, how he talks about Tesla in the future, it just did not sound good. It just, you read through the transcript, which I read through a little bit later on because I wasn't listening to it live. But the things he was saying was just like, what are you saying, dude? What on earth are you talking about? And that just caused people to be like, nah, I'm out. And then you have this big sell-off here, pre-market's off again. And so you're looking at, I think that this day, it's still off about 10%. So it closed about $244, and it closed about $220 the next day. So that's $24 of just one share, was down $24 in one day. As you can imagine, I have 100 shares, so I lost $2,400 in one day of Tesla because of this earnings report here. And again, earnings are always tricky to play, which is why, you have to kind of expect the unexpected, as you never know what's going to happen, pre-market, post-market, after hour. You don't know what's going to happen. So I was like, all right, it sold off down to 220. And then sure enough, here's the market, and there goes Tesla stock again. And this is where we are at the close of Friday. So Tesla was down about 30-something dollars. It was about like 15-16% this week. So my portfolio took a massive hit. So this is just me telling you exactly what it is. I'm down a lot on Tesla right now. It is it's obviously the biggest holding my portfolio right now, which is why I was also buying in on the S&P 500, because that's one of those long-term investments to kind of balance out my portfolio a little bit. Now, let's take a look at the numbers and show you why I'm hoping that my options play strategy is still going to come into fruition and it's actually going to work. So here's all the numbers. I have it all written over here. I made it nice and big font so everybody can see. Oh, hang on. Let me pull this back down again. Where'd it go? There it is. All right. So here's a summary of what my options been right now. It's the Tesla position, again, 100 shares, $257.50. That was about a month ago now at this point. So it's been about $25,750 I paid for those shares. Right now, as the market closed, it closed at before here it was $211.94. So I closed at $21,194. $21,194 is my current value of my position, which means I am currently down $4,556 just on the Tesla stock alone, which is not fun. But, take what the market gives you. Last year, I was down about $3,000 in my portfolio overall. So luckily, I made some money earlier. So right now, I'm down about 17.69% in my Tesla position. Now, I know you're like, oh my God, why don't you just sell for it? Just sell it off, take your losses, whatever. Again, I'm a long-term believer. I'm hoping that the stock will rally a little bit. This is what builds, the strength in being able to, stomach these kind of trades and these kind of volatility here. Because, you never know what's going to happen. Maybe it rallies the next, next week out. It rallies up, even $10-$20 and I make $1,000, $2,000 and I can diminish my profits or my loss really quick, So it all depends on what the market's going to do. Again, I'm looking at long-term here. It's still a leading automaker of EV vehicles and everything else. So everybody, knows Tesla. The Cybertruck is going to be hopefully being, start getting shipped out. November 30th, I believe, was the date that they announced on the earnings. But here's the only, I guess, the one positive thing about my options trading strategy. So far, I did the math and I looked at my brokerage account and I have collected $1,427 in premiums on Tesla stock. So even though I'm down $4,556, I've actually made $1,427 in just premiums alone, which actually diminishes my loss to $3,129. So in trading these premiums and collecting them upfront and selling options and everything else, I've actually reduced my loss by a little over 5.5%, which again, it's a cushion to the blow, because this is what I'm looking for here. So even if Tesla rallies and I make $2,000 up next week on Tesla, I'll be in the green again on my position, and I could be like, you know what, maybe I'll just sell it off, take my profit, and call it a day. So that's the good thing about selling options here and collecting the premiums, is that it allows me to offset my losses when I have this crazy, crazy market. And again, you can take a look and just see, like, this is just, a bloodbath. Like, just bloodbath right there. So that's currently where I'm at in my Tesla position. So I want to kind of just give you guys, again, the clarity and, the behind the scenes is what I'm looking at right now. So you don't be like, oh, you only make money. I also lose money, as I am losing money right now. But again, you don't lose the money until you actually sell it for a loss. And I haven't sold it yet, so I haven't realized this loss, but I have realized this gain here. So as long as I don't sell this here, this is not going to be realized. It's unrealized. It's not real yet until I sell my position off and take a loss or whatever it is. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video and saw the ins and outs of my Tesla trading. And where I'm at right now. On Sunday, my goal is to have a live stream Sunday at 6 p.m. Last week, Xfinity wanted to update my internet, so be on the lookout for the link on the YouTube channel for the live stream. If you made this far in the video, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell notifications, and make sure you smash the thumbs up button. Leave any comments you have down below in your description. And I'm going to see you guys on Sunday, hopefully, for the live stream. Take care, everybody.